Hello, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because it's Halloween, and I feel like I need a good scare. Speaking of Halloween, I think I've talked about all of my favorite horror franchises, scary things, and movies that I like to think about around this time. Buffy, Supernatural, and it could be at the door. Alright? Mailman. Thank you. We got a letter. Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Oh my god, I just realized! All this time I've been talking about some of my favorite franchises and some of my favorite series and stuff that have affected me when I grew up and stuff that I'm a huge fan of. I never really talked about Beetlejuice on this show, have I? Well, in case you might not have figured it out, I am a giant fan of Beetlejuice, both the show and the movie. The movie always makes me laugh, and I can practically quote every single one of BJ's lines in that entire film. I love watching Beetlejuice scare the living hell out of everybody, and it was hilarious. I also love the show. The show really hit the spot for and gave me inspiration for a lot of my favorite heroic second wind moments. I guess it's also the reason why I love reality warpers. Now that I think about it, let's see what type of crossovers we got. And I'll look at that. Apparently, last a couple of years, about 2 years ago, an authoress made a Beetlejuice Day fan crossover right when I started this show. Mind the interesting things that you pick up. So stay here as we here at the Terryberry Memorial Library and proud to present Say It Thrice. Enjoy. Say It Thrice. Bookwormgal. Bookwormgal. So do you eat the books or do you... Chapter 1. Welcome, Dabney Park. Recently deceased, with established haunting parameters, often manifest originally in the realm of the living or netherworld. Those who manifest in the realm of the living appear within those haunting parameters. Those who manifest in the netherworld will either be operating from that location or cannot access the proper haunting parameters immediately. These workers can be located in the netherworld. Instructions for moving between the two locations are covered more extensively in the earlier chapter. Between the human and netherworld is the ectoplasmically charged zone that serves as a buffer. The zone is an environment with mutated geography, inhabited by ghosts without proper haunting parameters, and ghosts who did not manifest originally in the more typical locations, and ghost-like entities that are not truly deceased. Evidence of this buffer zone generally demonstrate higher power and variety of abilities than others, normally reaching a minimum of a Class 5, while also displaying higher levels of aggression and obsession. Access between the zone and the realm of the living is easier to accomplish without the necessity of proper channels due to proximity, though the portals often vary in location, stability, and duration. Outside of the realm of the living, and often accessible as a border to the individual haunting perimeters, is the Centurion territory. Due to the high saturation of sandworms and temporal flux, the season advised against accessing Saturn and to remain within their haunting parameters. The ability to move between the realm and the living, the netherworld, and the zone vary depending on the individual's specific circumstances, presence of portals, and conditions of the various locations at the time of attempted access. Excerpt from the handbook for recently deceased. It wasn't quite as bad as an exorcism, but they definitely caused him some real problems. He knew he had been at least out for days. It wasn't that long in the grand scheme of things, but it also wasn't that great. He wasn't as powerful of a ghost. He knew he'd still be curled up in a dark corner somewhere, unable to move. Well, he was curled up in a dark corner, but at least he could start moving again. It really packed some punch to that little stunt. Mostly, though, he was alright. What didn't kill you made you stronger, right? Or what, it wasn't for the whole already dead thing. He was doing better. Granted, he felt kind of wrung out wobbly, but that would pass. He'd been hit with worse. In fact, he'd been eaten by a sandworm a couple of years ago, and he got over it. He would be alright soon enough. But that didn't, however, change how upset he was about it happening in the first place. Actually, upset was a bit of an understatement. He was seriously, violently ticked off. Not only did those idiots mess with him, biting him and trying to get him out of the way, but they messed with her. They took away with her and tried to trap him. As bad as it was to mess with him, messing with her was unforgivable. Whenever he got a hold of them, he would make them wish they were dead at Juno's responsibility. They were smart, stealing his name from her. They used the ring he gave her during that ill-conceived marriage scheme. Not his fault he was horrible at judging ages among the living after a few centuries of being dead. It wasn't like he intended to stick around for long after the ceremony anyway. He should have made her give it back a long time ago. Objects of meaning and important to ghosts could have power, especially if they're a reflection of some type of relationship. Granted, the ring wasn't instantly meant for their merits, instead of the honest friendship they ended up with. But friendship was still a relationship, and the ring was a mostly forgotten and ignored symbol of some kind of connection between the ghost and girl. They used it. It was clever. They bound the pair, the girl too tangled up with the dead to be completely unaffected, binding her memory of his name, binding his ability to reach through mirrors from the other side, and to do who knows what else since he had been a little out of it near the end. They all bound it to the ring. It was smart. He couldn't remove her memory of him or the Maitlands, but they could take away her ability to summon him. And he ensured he couldn't reach out to her, or remind her of his name, or even watch her from afar. He would be the first to admit they were clever with their strategy. He'd even be impressed if it wasn't for the fact that they were messing with the best and his only friend. Instead, he simply hated them. With his anger and frustration burning bright, he forced himself upright properly. He knew he was in the nether world, which was at least better than the Lost Souls room. Sacking other ghosts from ending up there was easier than stopping himself from suffering that fate. Yeah, he was at least thankful to avoid an actual exorcism for the moment. He could spot the huge building where the poor idiot sat around in the waiting room for an available caseworker. It was far enough away that none of them would notice him. Not that any of them would care. Some, like Juno, the pain in the neck that never let anything go, might even think he deserved it. But karma wasn't exactly something he put much faith in, so he wrote the whole situation off as just rotten luck. The architecture of the netherworld was different than what the living tended to use, but it wasn't particularly hostile or mind-breaking. He even snuck her in a couple of times with a little creativity with the whole summon banishing by saying the name thing. If someone figured out he'd done that, he'd be in an insane amount of trouble. But he liked it, and he was good at loopholes anyway, so he risked it. The point was that, compared to the land of the living, the netherworld wasn't quite normal. Geometry and geography tended to get a little weird if you overthought it, but he was used to it enough to figure out what sort of where he was. Basically, he landed what was more or less a narrow alleyway in a less frequented corner of the place. In all honesty, it was reasonably close to where he used to stay between bioexorcism jobs. It was dark, but that was normal for the state of the netherworld. The easiest thing to do would be to just go back to how things were before the Maitlands contacted him. The smart thing to do would be to forget what happened and get on with his afterlife. There was no way in another world he was going to do that. She was his friend, and no one was allowed to take his friend away. He couldn't leave her alone with them. He'd find a way back to her. No matter how they tried to bind and trap him, he figured out a way. He was an expert at bending rules and finding loopholes after all. He'd get her back, even if he was forced to tear the netherworld and the land of the living apart in the process. With no one around to use his name, getting to the living would be difficult. He was used to not being able to say his own name. He was even used to having issues figuring ways to get his name out to others so they could summon him. He did it for centuries, but after his last stunt where he apparently pushed Juno's paces too far, he started having the very first page of the handbook for newbie ghosts warn against calling on bioexorcists in general, and him specifically. So he did it without even having to print his name, which he considered impressive. The rest of the ghosts, the ones who already knew his name, knew better than summon him either. and there was a limit to how much he could do to get a human to call his name while he was stuck on the other side. No one was going to use his name, and no one was going to help him get to her, especially no one who worked in the Nightmare's bureaucracy. Seriously needed to lighten up. Actually had the ability to access the land of the living a little easier than most. It was completely up to him. Thanks to the way he was bound by the use of his name, but it was the best option at the moment. He had to give it a try. "Hang on, Bibbs," he muttered. "I'm coming for you." With the exception of regular ghost attacks, Fenton works in the infamous Alpha, who's trying to protect his hometown while also maintaining a secret at the same time. Amity Park was a fairly ordinary and boring town. Okay, maybe not that ordinary and boring, but it wasn't major of a place. It certainly didn't attract large numbers of new arrivals. People didn't really move to Amity Park. Away, sure. Regular hauntings encouraged that. But everyone at Danny's school were essentially the same kids he had seen since elementary school. So when a black-haired, pale girl in dark clothes that wasn't Sam ended up sitting in his homeroom, it caught his attention. Her hair was pulled up in a messy bun of some type. Almost everything she wore was black. Black shoes, black leotard-like pants that somehow managed to give the impression of modern and old-fashioned at the same time, and a black short-sleeved shirt that looked like something out of the Victorian era, over a skin-tight black long-sleeved shirt that covered the palm of her hands, leaving her fingers exposed. The only hint of color was some red fabric, very visible from where she had stuffed it into her backpack. There's no way in the world he'd been seeing her and around the school for years. She stood out way too much for that. She was just sitting there in one of the back seats, a dark expression on her face as she silently scribbled on a sheet of paper. Very few people were ever happy to be at school, but the boy could see it was more than just that. There was just way too much anger, frustration, hopelessness, loss, loneliness, and sorrow all mixed together in an expression as he ignored everyone else in the room. He wasn't jazzed, but Danny could tell that the new girl needed to talk to someone before she snapped the pencil in her grip and decided to start screaming towards the ceiling. Judging by her goth clothes and off-putting expression, he doubted there would be any making the offer. "Whoa, love your new outfit," said Sam, rushing past him with a rather enthusiastic expression on her face. Last time he saw that exact look on his friend's face was when he was at the Gothapalooza, after he returned to normal. "Can't believe someone around here finally has a decent clothes. Everyone else around here dresses like Barbie clones." The girl jerked abruptly, was clearly startled by Sam's excited outburst and having another goth in class. It was as if she didn't even be noticed, or as if she didn't notice anyone else. There was some hesitation and suspicion before she reversed a weak smile. "I'm familiar with the breed," she said. "Since my last girl was all girls, there's a lot of them to deal with. I think they're everywhere, like roaches." Sam nodded with approval at this statement, as her friends came up behind her. Danny could already tell the new girl was going to be drafted as Sam's new companion for goth poetry reading. Neither boy was going to complain about scheming that occasionally. There was only so many times he could handle listening to people rhyme dark and empty without growing bored. "Well, it'd probably be best then for us to stick together and avoid infestation. My name's Sam, president of Goth of the school. I can show you where the best bookstores and such are. These are my friends, Danny and Tucker." "Nice to meet you," remarked Tucker, grin on his face clearly demonstrating his thoughts about a pretty girl who hadn't rejected him already joining the class.
"Thanks. Don't even think about it. I have a not boyfriend who's kind of scary to deal with. It would probably dunk you a Shark Tank if he saw you hitting on me,"
she replied calmly, nearly clearly noticing the same thing that Danny did about Tucker's behavior.
Not boyfriend?"
asked Sam, sitting in the seat next to her. "I feel like there's a story here."
"You could say that. He's complicated.
Our first meeting was scary, and he later tried to remove way too fast. I agreed, even though I didn't want to because I needed his help. But things got... well, it ended in chaos and he vanished for a while. Then he figured out exactly how young I was. There was some anger, some yelling, some accusations, and then some vague and some oddly...
might call it sweet, but at least honest apologies. After that, he's my best friend in a strange way. But he's still possessive and a little overboard in his reactions. So while he never hurt me, others need to be careful. As the girl spoke, she sounded wistful and sad. Didn't take a genius to figure out her not-boyfriend was back wherever she used to live and she missed him. What really set Danny's metal alarm was something else. Considering how many secrets and lies he needed to juggle on a daily basis, the half-elf knew how to recognize when someone was hiding something. He could tell it was important. Sounds complicated, Danny said slowly. What's his name? A flash of pure frustration and heartbreak crossed her face, and her voice was positively pained as she whispered, I can't tell you. Whisper? No, sweetie, it's okay. You don't need to be here. I got this. Okay. Hi, everyone.
What? I fell in love with Whisper the Wolf on IDW.
He's so sweet.
Before anyone could respond or react further, Mr. Lancer announced from the room, Alright, class. It seems we have a new student joining us. Why don't you stand up and introduce yourself? Her eyes rolled as she climbed to her feet and placed a bored expression on her face. She looked around the room, studying the wide assortment of geeks, jocks, popular girls, and other various students.
Ugh, just what we need. Another Sam lurking around being creepy.
Someone muttered under her breath. The previous mixture of emotions abruptly constellated into a feeling that he could practically feel radiating off of her. Anger. If the pale black-haired girl had been a ghost instead of a human, Danny knew her eyes would have glowed in response to the comment. Instead, she adopted the fakest and scariest grin to ever grace the halls of Casper High, and she started to address her audience with almost tearfully sarcastic voice possible. Now that I think about it, but in Journal 3, Ford never mentioned encountering a Beetlejuice ghost. For shame, Alex!
My name's Lydia Dietz. I'm from Winter River, and I lived in New York City before that. Well, I'm sure this is a nice little town.
The only reason I'm here is because any parental figures I have apparently possess a tendency to experience fatal car accidents. My dad and stepmom have moved on to a better place. I had experts check just in case. And since I'm not an adult, I ended up with Aunt Melinda. She's my mom's sister, and I never saw that side of my family even before my mom died. My dad remarried, so she's a pretty much a stranger. She's also an evil, controlling witch who dragged me here, while guaranteed that anything remotely good in my life is now gone.
Oh, and I like photography, gothic design, sewing, and the color black.
Obviously satisfied by the horrified silence, Lydia took her chair and went back to scribbling in her notebook. Even with the return of her previous dark expression to her face, it's clear she was looking for a horrified and uncomfortable reaction from her audience. The look on Mr. Lancer's face was particularly shocked. Well, hope you'll be happy here at our school, he said awkwardly. Almost relief on screams of terror and shouts about a haunted meatloaf erupted from the hall at the same moment Danny felt his ghost sense activate. A brief attack in front of Leslie was a perfect eruption. Already the students were fleeing in a panic, yet early faster towards the safer location, forgetting all about the new girl. Danny and his friends looked for somewhere he could change out of sight. He got a quick glimpse of Lydia's face. She was surprised and intrigued by the green-skinned ghost in her terrorizing the school. But she wasn't afraid. She wasn't running in panic. She was staring. He carefully tucked that odd reaction to the back of his mind. For now, he had a job to do. Compared to how much trouble he had the first time, Sam was mightily impressed at how quickly Danny could deal with the lunch lady now. It was a real and tangible sign of progress. A couple of minutes of semi-amusing banter and blasts of rectal energy, then Tucker managed to snag her with a thermos. By the time Mr. Lancer started counting the students huddled around the front of the school, the ghost and thermos were tucked out of sight and the cheer rejoined the crowd. No one noticed. Actually, a second thought, maybe they weren't completely unnoticed. Standing among the crowd of gossiping students was a silent shadow. A thoughtful expression on her face was Lydia. Even if she was listening to rather intently to the discussions, her attention instantly focused on their arrival. Whether Lydia was merely searching for a familiar, friendly face, or she was curious about the trio's location during the attack and nosy fans, she was clearly more observant than most students. So, a ghost Lindsay, and that Danny Pham guy? This town is just full of surprises. She remarked, my dad would have already been considering where to invest in a paranormal museum for this place. The other girl smiled briefly, appreciating the idea. Desi remembered what she said before. His Constance expressed a crumble. So, you were serious before? About your parents? Tucker asked. Leah nodded before looking away. I don't like loss. I'm starting to get far too familiar with it. My mom died when I was 7. My dad remarried when I was 11. And not long ago, he and Delia headed back to New York City for an art show while I stayed home with. They never made it back. They were just gone. Sorry, Ira said. That's what everyone said. Even the neighborhood real estate woman, Jane Butterfield, right before offering to sell my home, almost before the funeral was over, she said numbly. Lydia then cleverly glanced at the trio. But I think you actually mean it. Thanks. Okay, everyone, remarked Mr. Lancer. I think it's safe to head back to class now. There were a few mutters of complaint, but the students began to shuffle their way back to the front door down to the hall. They moved in uneven clumps rather than organized lines, like you would have when they were younger. It was completely routine and ordinary by now. Everyone was used to the school day being out-directed by ghost-related chaos, and the new girl was handling it just as naturally. Falling back slightly, Danny said in a hushed tone, she's hiding something. Lydia is keeping a huge secret. Well, so are we, pointing out Tucker. I think we should keep an eye out just in case. He continued. And you thought the same thing about Gregor, said Sam. And I was right! Technically, you thought he was involved with the guys in white. Tucker corrected. He just turned out to be a huge threatening alien instead. Sam rolled her eyes. Fine. I was planning on spending more time with her anyway. I'll watch out for anything weird. Danny gave her a relieved smile. Thanks. I could be wrong, but there's just something about her. She doesn't set off my ghost sense, but she's far too calm for a regular person facing ghosts. It's like she's either a ghost hunter or some kind, or I don't even know what. Ooh, maybe a Ghostbuster? I mean, you've had dealings with them before. For those of you who want to be remembered, please check out Martial Arts Users' previous Ghostbusters videos. Thank you. Now the seamless plug is away. This is a pretty great start to this story. This chapter is actually pretty interesting and sets up a lot of questions that I look forward to being answered, like, why is Beetlejuice separated from Lydia? What's going to happen next? How's Beetlejuice going to reunite with her? There's so many questions that this one chapter sets up, and also finds a way to get you interested, even if you had no experience with Beetlejuice, and if not, what type of rock have you been living under? Or any experience with Danny. If you're a fan of both franchises, you can easily get in. Like, try to figure out, okay, who's this Danny fan person? Is Danny some kind of superhero? And he gets introduced. This is how you do a proper crossover, Spiders and Magic! Another thing that this fic does well is that it does set up a couple of answers to some lingering questions that I had ever since I was a kid watching the show. Like, how did Beetlejuice and Lydia become friends when Beetlejuice tried to marry her in the original story? Whatever happened to the Matlins? Do they approve of this? There were so many questions that this story needed to answer, and it's bringing us some interesting answers. Even if you're a fan of just the show and not the movie, and if you are just a fan of the show, so go ahead, watch the movie. It's great. Michael Keaton is a blast in that. It's my second favorite Michael Keaton role. What's your first favorite Michael Keaton role? Do I even need to say it? Da-da-da-da. It's like my favorite Michael Keaton. It's my favorite Tim Burton movie too. And my second favorite Jack Nicholson movie. Number one, Shining. Here's Johnny. Anyway. And I think this Vic does really well at starting this off. Overall, a great beginning. True. Is there a chance we're probably going to continue this later? Maybe. I mean, there is a week before Halloween. Maybe a few days before we could have an all-day marathon of this whole entire story and just breeze right through it. But right now, I think I'll just enjoy the day. Me say day, yo. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day. Me say day, me say day, me say day, oh. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Work all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and me wanna go home. A stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Lift 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bounce. Daylight come and me wanna go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me say day, oh. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me say day, me say day, me say day, oh. Daylight come and me wanna go home. A beautiful bunch of ripe banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Hide a deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Don't worry, guys. They'll be fine in a bit. I just gotta have some fun. That was one down. That's where to go. He'll see ya next time. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me say day, yo. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Everyone! Day-o! Day-o! Daylight come and me wanna go home. Day, me say day, me say day, me say day, oh. Daylight come and me wanna go home.